Hello everyone, welcome to this new video, and in fact I would say this is the sixth video in fact in the series of videos in which we are learning about how to do time series analysis, or rather practical time series analysis in brand new library called SK-Time. Now from this video onwards I will be looking at some more forecasting algorithms which are implemented in SK-Time, and I am also going to show how does this contrast with what we used to do earlier with only sklearn library. So in this particular video what I am going to do is I am going to implement my own regression algorithm. It would be not my own specifically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use sklearn for forecasting by converting my data into the representation which sklearn requires, and then I'm going to show you how SK-Time makes it really easy to accomplish the same task. So I hope you are excited and I hope you are interested in this particular video. So what is the first thing that I'm going to do? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Python 3 notebook, and this notebook I'm going to name as video 5, and here we will be implementing sklearn regression plus SK-Time regression. Okay, so this is the idea. So the idea is first of all to actually show you how we used to do forecasting with the help of regression algorithms using sklearn. Okay, so first of all we need to have some data set. Obviously I am going to take up the same data set which was Load Airlines dataset. Now you might be asking or thinking that why am I always taking this particular dataset? Because it is coming pre-built with the SK-Time library, and I do not have to go and look for other datasets. But that doesn't mean I will not be taking any other datasets in future. In fact, I am planning to include one example where I am showing all those forecasting algorithms which we have studied in this series to kind of predict stock prices, and that stock prices I'm going to somehow get from some sort of API. Okay, but we are going to be talking about that once we get there. Right now my task is to just show you how we used to do forecasting using sklearn library. Okay, so let us get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the font size. Okay, now I'm going to import the load airline data. So let me do that. So I'm going to say from SK-Time dot datasets import load airline. Okay, so once this dataset has been imported, we can store this in the variable load airline. Okay, now once we understand that what do we mean by forecasting, in the forecasting what we are essentially trying to do is we are essentially trying to predict the next value in the sequence of time series that we have got. Okay, in this sequence this airline is giving us the number of flights that were booked for each month from the year 1960 to 1980. So I would like to predict the number of flights booked in next months. Okay, so to do that what we are planning to do is we are planning to use regression. But if you guys know about regression, then what regression does is using regression we have some independent variables and we have some dependent variables. So we have a concept of independent variable versus dependent variable. Okay, so we need to have a matrix or array or data frame, whatever you might call it, called x. Now x needs to have a shape of something like x cross k. And what this x n cross k is representing is n is the number of rows and k is the number of features this x has. So number of features or number of independent variables. And we have a y which we are trying to predict, and it will also be having n rows, but it will only have one column because only one dependent variable will be there, that the variable that we are trying to predict. And then after that what we do is we first of all initialize some regressor using sklearn's regressor. Let us say I am using decision tree regressor. Obviously I have not imported it right now. So after initializing regression object, what we can do is we can simply call regression dot fit on this x and y data. And after calling this, what I can do is I can call regression dot predict on new y data set. So I can call it new y or y test. Okay, so this is the idea behind regression algorithm. Now we want to use this same structure for our time series forecasting. How can I do that? So to do that, there is an approach called reduction. So let me write it down, or I think I should convert it in a markdown cell. Okay, so I'll call it reduction approach. Now what this reduction approach does is it takes the time series data. So you can call that time series data, let's say y, and it converts that time series data into this kind of representation where we have some features and some dependent variable to predict. But to actually do this reduction thing, we need to first of all decide how many features are we planning to have. Okay, now right now all these things might be sounding too strange or weird for you, but if you have not done this kind of thing before, then try to stick with me. Everything will make sense as we move along this video. Okay, as we move further in this video. So what I'm trying to say here is, what I'm trying to do here is, I have got this airline variable, airline data. What I can do is I can say something like this. Let us say to predict the first value, I want to, let's say predict, I want to have a model, I want to have a regression model where I want to predict this 1112. But to predict this 1112, I need to have some features. And what can I do is I can say that to predict 112 value, I will take help of previous 10 values. Notice here what I am saying. To predict this 112 value, I am going to take help from previous 10 values. And why this makes sense? Because if you guys know about the theory of regression, then in regression, this y variable, dependent variable, is often taken as a correlated variable, as a correlation. So let me put it again. So what we are essentially trying to do in regression is we want to take those independent variables which are highly correlated with y. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to predict this 112 with previous 10 values. Okay, those previous 10 values will be highly correlated with this value. Why? Because in time series, since time series is a sequence data, each next realization of time series will be correlated with each previous realization. Are you getting my point? Okay, so in this manner what I can do is now I can say this 118 value can also be predicted using previous 10 values. Now you might be asking a question that right now we don't have previous 10 values, but what we can do is we can lose information about first 10 values, because for first 10 values we don't have previous 10 values. So what I can do is I can say, let me print airline. Okay, let me print the first 50 values. Okay, what I can say is for this value, I'll say for this value, do we have previous 10 values? No, we only have previous 9 values for this. But from 11th value onwards, we will be having 10 values for each next value. Are you getting my point? So what I'm trying to say is for this 104 value, I will have previous 10 values. For this 118 values, I will have previous 10 values. For this 115 value, I will have previous 10 value. So in this manner, what I can do is I can, from this index onwards, from 10th index, and Python's indexing starts from 0. So this means this is the 11th value. From 10th index onwards, what I can do is I can create a target from this value onwards, and for every target I can take previous 10 values in airline as the corresponding feature value. Okay, so if it is still not making sense to you, what I will do is I will quickly make this data, and then hopefully it is going to make sense. And the process that I have just discussed is the process which is known as reduction approach. Okay, so in this manner we reduce our data from time series to regression data. So what is the idea? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a variable called features first. So I'll define it as a empty list. I'll make another variable called target. Now I will run a loop. I'll say for I in range of, now first of all I'll define the length of airline. So length of airline will be something. Okay, now notice here what I'm going to do in this loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say features dot append. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to append to feature airline values starting from I to I think it would be I to I minus 10. Yeah, so I to I minus 10. But right now I'm saying that this should iterate from, so let me quickly show you what this range would look like. So let me open a new cell. Yes, so I'm going to make a list of this range object so that you can have a look. Now this is an index, this is representing a list of index. Now when this represent a list of index, the first index is 0. So what I'm saying is for 0, so I is 0, so it is taking from 0 to 0 minus 10, which simply does not make sense. So to actually make it better, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 10 from it. Okay, so in this manner what will happen is, it is going to, I think I should have from 0 to 10 values. I think I should have plus 10 here. Okay, from 0 to next 10 values I am going to append this to features list. Okay, and finally, since Python's indexing in Python's slicing, the last value is not taken care of, so this is actually the value of target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say target dot append, I'm going to say airline and the exact value of I plus 10. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Now if I hit enter, and let me also do one more thing, let me import numpy as np, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert features into a numpy array. I'm going to say np.array features, yeah, features, and target is equal to np.array target. Now let me print out the features. Notice here features, and if I also print the shape of features and target shape. Yes, so notice here we are having 130 rows of data, 134 rows of data. Okay, so and we have 10 features. So for every 10 features I am having one value to predict. Okay, so I have successfully converted my whole data into a regression data which I can use for training my regression algorithm. Now notice here the shape has reduced. Why? Let me check the airline's shape. What is the shape of airline? We are having 144 values in airline, but we reduce that shape into 134. Why? And if you notice the difference, you would be able to tell why. The difference is of 10 because for first 10 values we did not have any previous value, okay, that we can take to, you know, kind of consider those values as target value. So this is what I was trying to say. Now what we and those initial values we can, I think, safely ignore because if I print this airline, then most of the pattern lies in the values which are later. If I just get rid of first few values, let's say 10 values, then I don't think it is going to suffer my algorithm's performance much. Okay, so now that we have this target and features, what I can do is I can split this target and feature. But here I cannot just do random split because this target is inherently having some sequence associated with it. So I cannot use normal train test split. I cannot, what I need to do is I need to have this in my mind that this particular target is a sequence data. So hence I need to split it. First few values I need to split as training value, and last few values I need to split as testing value. So what I can do is I can define some length. So I can say train length, which is going to be target. So I'll say length of target. Let's say I'm saying that the training length will be 80% of the length of target. So I'll convert it into the integer, and let me now print train length. So the train length is 107. Now what I can do is I can do something like train features, and let me also do train target, and also I'll say test features and test target. So in the train features, what I can do is I can do something like features, and I can get all the values up to the train length. Okay, so features, target, all the values up to this train length, and similarly features. Now I will start from train length to all the way to the end of the features. Again I am going to start from train length, and I'm going to go all the way to last values. Now from here, if I run this cell, we will be having both training and testing data, and the reason that I splitted it like this is because I want to store only the most recent last values for prediction or for forecasting. Okay, I cannot randomly shuffle the data set. Okay, so now I need to import some sort of regressor so that I can use that regressor to train my algorithm. So I'll say from, let me import some regressor. You can use now that we have our data, so you can use almost any regression. And remember one more thing, I have not scaled these values. You also would want to scale your values in sklearn before actually training your algorithm. But right now I feel that's not important for me, because I want to demonstrate one point, and the point is that how painful it is to use sklearn to do these stuff. Okay, and how easy it is to use sktime to do those same stuff. It hardly is of 4 lines of code. I'm about to show you that, but for the timing, let me show you what do I mean by this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to import some sort of regressor. I'm going to say from sklearn, let me import, let's say I'll say from sklearn.tree import decision tree. Let me import decision tree regressor, and I'm going to say regressor is equal to decision tree regressor, and I can fit regressor using our train features and train target. So we have successfully fitted our train regressor. Now using this train regressor, what I can do is I can evaluate my model's performance using this test features and test target. But by evaluating, I'm not making any sort of forecast here. What I'm just doing is I'm just evaluating from the holdout data set. But how can I make forecast for some data for which I have not seen that data? So to make a forecast, I have to again, transform this train features back to, so what is the idea? How can I forecast these values? So to forecast these values, the idea is, first of all, I need to call regression.predict. Now to predict, so right now if I, wait a second. So if I check the shape of the features, train features, then the train features were having shape of 107 rows and 10 values as a feature. So what I need to do is I need to consider the previous, or I should say latest 10 values to predict the next, that means 108th value. So because training data has been used to predict training data has been used to train our regressor on 107 rows of data. Now using that data, if I extract the latest 10 data points, and those latest 10 data points I can call in regression.predict, I will be getting the prediction for 108th data. And once I get 108th data, then again I can consider that 108th data to kind of get the latest 10 data points to again call this regression.predict to kind of, so it is kind of happening recursively. So I make a prediction, I adjust that prediction in the latest 10 values, and I again make a prediction. So I hope you are able to get the points. Okay, so what I am going to now show you is an alternative way of doing the same things using skTime library. Since this video has become really long, it's of about 20 minutes, so in the next 5 minutes I want to very quickly demonstrate you how we can use skTime to do the same kind of stuff. Okay, and to understand more on those commands that we are using, we are going to be explaining those concepts in next video. Okay, so let me import few things first of all. So I'll say first of all, from skTime dot forecasting dot model selection import temporal train test split, and then I'm going to import from skTime dot forecasting dot compose, and I'm going to import reduced regression forecaster. Why do we say it as a reduced regression forecaster? Because I just told you that this approach is known as reduction approach, so that is why its name is reduced regression forecaster. Okay, once we have reduced regression forecaster, we also need one sklearn, because it is built on top of sklearn. So in this reduced regression forecaster, what I can do is I can specify any regression class from sklearn. So I might use this regression class. So what I can do is I can make a regressor class. So I'll say regressor is equal to decision tree regressor, and then I can say reduced regressor, and I'll say reduced regressor, and in this reduced regressor the first argument is regressor only, that which regressor you would like to use to reduce this data, whatever data we will be passing in the fit argument. Okay, so in the regressor I can specify this regressor which I just created. So it is going to now use this decision tree regressor to do the kind of thing. So I'll say window length. Now window length is 10, and what this 10 represents? This 10 represents the feature length. Okay, so how many values in feature we would like to start? Okay, there's one more argument, I guess, start with windows. Wait a second, let me look at all the arguments. Yeah, strategy is equal to recursive, and it's actually default. I do not need to set, because this strategy is what makes the prediction in a recursive manner. Okay, I think these two arguments will be enough. Okay, if I hit enter, we have created our reduced regressor object. Now to fit this reduced regressor, first of all I need some data. So I'll say ytrain and ytest. Okay, so ytrain and ytest. So I'll use temporal train test split, and from this temporal train test split I'm going to first of all specify the test size. First of all I need to specify the airline variable, and then test size, and I'm going to say 36. Okay, and then after we have this ytrain, I do not need to create this features like these, because it is going to be handled in the backend when I call this reduced regression forecaster. And this window length, we do not need to specify any of these things. I'll just fit this on ytrain. So if I hit enter, notice we have successfully trained our ytrain using this regressor, which was decision tree regressor. Okay, and now I can check the predictions, and to check the prediction I'll say reduce regressor dot predict, and in this predict I need to specify the forecasting horizon. Again, I already discussed what forecasting horizon means Forecasting horizon means the time period in the future for which we would like to predict. Since we held out the data for 36 months, for latest 36 months, we will be having a forecasting horizon of length 36 only. So I'll say let me use numpy for this, np.arrange 1 to 37, I guess. Yes, so now we have a forecasting horizon. Let me hit enter so I can look at the prediction. Yes, so we are having these predictions. Now we are going to be using very cool function, and I think I'm simply in love with this particular function called plot ys, because it minimizes the code for plotting your predictions quite heavily, because you have to plot all these things separately. But now you have this function plot ys, with which you can train and plot and see the performance of as many regressors as possible. Okay, and you can plot as many time series as possible. So first of all, I need to import this function. I'll say sktime.utils for plotting forecasting import plot ys. Yeah, so now in the plot ys I can specify this y train, y test, y prediction, and in labels I'll specify the label in the order that I passed these time series in. So I'll specify the test, I'll specify the prediction. Okay, so once I hit enter, I think I did not import matplotlib, because otherwise it is not going to plot the library, because it is built on top of matplotlib. So if I hit enter, it is saying no module matplot. Okay, all right, I think I should do in separate cell. Yes, so now you can see this is the kind of performance that we are getting for our plot ys, but it is looking like we are getting very worse performance. Why it is happening? Let's look at it. So we have this reduced regressor.predict. We predicted for future 36 values. Obviously we might have missed something. Let me now do one thing. Let me try to look at the various values for recursive. So earlier I used recursive strategy. So let me use some other strategy. So I'll say strategy is equal to, so usually when I do not know the correct parameter for a particular argument, I just specify something wrong and it just prints me. Yeah, so direct recursive. So let me use direct and see if the performance improves. It's saying the forecasting horizon must be passed to fit. Okay, but none was found. This is because fitting of the direct regressor forecast. Oh, I see. Yes, so we will be tackling these issues in later lectures, but right now just understand that it is saying that with the direct forecaster we have to also pass forecasting horizon. So we will just stick with what we used earlier, I think. So this is the performance, and the performance is not quite expected. Like it should have been like, so it looks like the performance is really worse. So yeah, so I will be tackling these issues in later videos. So right now I'm not able to figure out why the performance is getting too poor. Okay, so thank you so much for watching the video. In the last lecture we will be taking this same topic of implementing this recursive, or rather I should say reduced regression forecaster, and we will try to play with the strategy by calling direct, recursive and other type of arguments for strategy. Okay, so thank you so much for watching the video, and if you like the type of content that I upload, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It will really encourage me to make more such type of content. And if you have any doubts and queries, please put your doubts and queries in the comments down below, and also try to put some suggestions that you might be having for me, so I can consider those suggestions in future videos that I might create. Okay, so thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day.